So the terms voodoo and hoodoo has gotten a lot of attention in the past 15 or 20 years, and even more attention recently. And it seems to be talked about, written about, and presented by the people who are not of African descent, the people who do not carry the voodoo in their bloodlines. And so for all of us who are of African descent, it is very important at this time that we learn what we can about our traditions, that we preserve them, and that we begin to speak about them and document them. Because all too often in our history, our traditions are being documented and spoken about by people who are not a part of the traditions, who are not a part of the culture. Our traditions, our culture needs to be documented by us, spoken about and taught by us, to us. So voodoo and hoodoo, both are present here in Louisiana. So for all people in the United States of African descent, if you're wanting to know where are the remnants of what your ancestors brought here to the United States, it is not gone, it's not lost, it's not like we didn't have anything or we don't have anything. You can find that African culture within the Afro-Creole culture of Louisiana. You can also find it within Gullah culture. It is our job, it's our responsibility to maintain and preserve these traditions, to maintain and preserve this religion. It is our obligation to pass this on and to teach this. And this doesn't just have to do with people who are in Louisiana, who were born in Louisiana, or, as far as Gullah culture, who may be born in South Carolina. This has to do with all of us. When you're thinking about Afro-Creole culture in particular, and you think about Louisiana, we have to remember that before 1803, what was known as the Louisiana Territory took up 1/3 of the United States. So St. Louis, black folks in St. Louis, you are a part of us. All along the Gulf Coast, what was known or what is known as New Orleans voodoo or Louisiana voodoo was practiced by these regions all along the Gulf Coast. New Orleans is a port city. So Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, you are a part of us. And let's not forget all of the people of African descent who live in, who live on the West Coast, who live on the East Coast. You're not exempt from this. Most people that I speak to who may be from California and particularly Oakland, a lot of them have parents and grandparents or even great-grandparents who came from Louisiana, who came from Texas. You are a part of us. A lot of people in Chicago, you have parents, grandparents, great-grandparents who came from Louisiana. You are a part of us. A lot of people in New York, the same thing. Parents, great-grandparents, grandparents. You are a part of us.
Hoodoo mind, Hoodoo nation, Akan descendants of our Akan Nananom Nsamanpo, our spiritually cultivated ancestresses and ancestors of West Afuraitkaitnit, who were forced into the Western Hemisphere during the Mmuswo Kessie, the Great Perversity, the enslavement era. But when we were forced here, we maintained our ancestral religious traditions. The Akan tradition is called Hoodoo in North America, from the Akan term Undu, meaning medicine, from roots, trees, plant life. It also means to become heavy with the spirit, to conjure the spirit, bring the spirits down of the Obosom and Nananom Nsamampo, the deities and the ancestral spirits of Afuraitkaitnut of our direct blood circles, for healing as well as for killing, for offensive medicine and defensive medicine. We utilize hoodoo to wage war, chemical and biological warfare against our enemies, the whites and their offspring, and forced the end of enslavement in the Western Hemisphere. We left West Afuraitkaitnut hundreds of years ago. That ancestral religious practice, tradition that was fossilized in our bones and blood is what we carried to this hemisphere. And it is that tradition that we pass down through our genetic blood circles, spiri-genetic blood circles.
language of Ancient Khanit and Kamit, which is Nubia and Egypt, the terms KA and KAIT are the male and female terms for soul. The soul, the KA and KAIT, is an Obosom, Vodou, a deity, a divinity, assigned to us by the Great Mother and Great Father Supreme Being to dwell with us in our head region and guide us throughout the course of our lives. Our KA and KAIT, KA for male, KAIT for female. The KA or KAIT is encoded with the blueprint regarding our divine function in creation and the spiritual power we possess to execute that function. We function fully as adults only when we adhere to the direction of our KA and KAIT. Attunement to our KA and KAIT is central to being rooted in manhood and womanhood as Afurakanu, Afuraitkaitnit, African Black people. The terms KA and KAIT also reference bull and cow. These are sacred animal totems associated with our ancestral clans, as well as the Obosom and Vodou, the deities governing the soul, the KA and KAIT.